Biden made a statement and announced his withdrawal from the presidential race.
I'm sick and tired.
We expected this withdrawal, but there was no new candidate until the name came up. The highest-ranking female official in U.S. history, a lawyer who served as Attorney General of California, Kamala Harris, the first Black, South Asian, female Vice President of the United States. After Biden withdrew, she made 100 interviews in the first 10 hours and secured her nomination in just 48 hours. On top of that, she raised record donations. The second name of the United States is now very close to the presidency. Here is a profile of Kamala Harris. Welcome to the Knowledge Vault. You can support us by subscribing to our channel and liking the video. And you can express your opinions about the video in the comments. Britain, Iran, India, Mexico, Russia. This year has been a year of elections. But there is one election that everyone is fixated on, and it is one of the most important agenda items of the next 3 months. The presidential elections in the United States of America. So much so that the world has talked about nothing in the last month more than the bullet that grazed Trump's ear. The assassination attempt on Trump has almost turned him into a hero in front of the voters.
Last week, I took a bullet for democracy. What did I do against democracy?
His opponent, Biden? He too has been talked about this year with his interesting slips of the tongue, his falls, and his salute to the void.
My memory is not good. My memory is fine.
So, former President Trump was so confident that he would win, with a powerful right-wing radical like Vance at his side. But something unexpected happened, and at this very moment, Biden announced his withdrawal from the presidential race on November 5th. He nominated his running mate Kamala Harris as his replacement and announced his support for Harris. This decision had a huge repercussion in the political arena. So how did Harris's path to this important position take shape? Harris was born to a biologist mother who came to the U.S. as a student from India, and a Black father, an economics professor, who came to the U.S. as a student from Jamaica. When her parents divorced, she was raised by Shamala Gopalan, a cancer specialist and women's rights activist. We were not materially wealthy, but the values we internalized provided a different kind of wealth, Harris writes in her 2019 memoir. Harris, who had been interested in law since he was a young girl, moved across the country to attend Howard University, historically a predominantly Black university. She interned for California Senator Alan Cranston, the Democrat she would later succeed. In 1990, Harris began her legal career as a prosecutor in San Francisco. It would not be an exaggeration to call Kamala a woman of firsts in America. In 2003, she became the first female district attorney. In 2010, she was elected California Attorney General, becoming the first woman and the first Black person to be elected in the state's history.
The American dream belongs to all of us.
In 2014, she was re-elected to a second term as State Attorney General. In 2016, Harris was elected Senator from California, becoming the first South Asian and second Black senator from California to serve in Congress.
So I don't know, is she Indian or is she Black?
She is always identified.
In 2019, she began the process of running for president. His popularity among liberal activists was growing. Her performance in the debates drew attention to him. What caught my attention the most was his racist criticism of Biden in the first Democratic Party debate. She criticized Biden for his stance on compulsory busing, which was implemented against racial discrimination in the past.
And, there was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools. And she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me.
By the way, this debate is not a very old debate. It takes place in 2019. For Kamala Harris's campaign, it was a turning point. Harris is also one of the leaders of the movement that emerged after the murder of George Floyd in May 2020. In August that year, she became Biden's vice president. She is the first Black and South Asian vice president of the United States.
But while I may be the first woman in this office, I will not be the last.
Harris, who traveled to more than 19 countries and met with more than 150 leaders during her vice presidency, was more in the background during the 3.5-year period after she was elected Biden's vice president. Biden's decision to withdraw from the presidency marked an important turning point in Harris's political career. But why do you think Biden withdrew? Lately, we have talked about him mostly for his blunders and slips of the tongue on the screen.
And now I want to hand it over to the president of Ukraine, who has as much courage as he has determination. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin. Mr. President, I'm better. You are a hell of a lot better.
Having lost the trust of his voters and his party, Biden became a direct target of the Republicans. When his debate with Trump did not yield the expected results, he lost the support of the Democrats to a great extent. It was exactly 1346 when Biden officially withdrew his candidacy. The countdown for Harris began at that moment. She immediately rolled up her sleeves. What do you think she did first? She called Democrats one by one. She called Democrats. She had a long list of calls. She made 100 calls in 10 hours, from past Democratic presidents to Democratic congressional leaders. "I couldn't let this day go by without breaking the news," Harris said. And in the first 48 hours, she had eliminated all her serious rivals and had more than the number of delegates needed for the nomination. Harris has also gained considerable strength with the endorsement of former President Barack Obama. Obama, as you know, became the first black president of the United States in 2008. So Obama's endorsement reinforced the support of Democratic leaders for Harris. The New York Times said, "Kamala Harris has the missing piece." Then the much-talked-about video was released. Let's watch it.
We called to say Michelle and I couldn't be prouder to endorse you and to do everything we can to get you through this election and into the Oval Office.
Oh my goodness. Michelle, Barack, this means so much to me. I am looking forward to doing this with the two of you, Doug and I both, and getting out there, being on the road.
Harris received support not only from the Obamas, but also from former presidents Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. Bill Clinton called Harris the right choice for the future of this country. In general, however, her political views and ideological positions are not clear. Harris has played a critical role in the fight against the immigration crisis and in the management of U.S. border policies. As a senator, she opposed the Muslim travel ban under former President Donald Trump. Today, Harris faces U.S. voters with a very clear message on Trump. She's telling the American people that they have a choice between a prosecutor and a convicted felon.
I know Donald Trump's type.
And it's not just Trump she's up against, it's Vance, Trump's new vice presidential candidate, who called her a childless cat lady.
We're effectively run in this country via the Democrats, via our corporate oligarchs, by a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices that they've made.
Of course, Vance got a lot of backlash for that. According to Donald Trump, Harris is easier to beat than Biden. But is it really? Kamala has some advantages. Trump no longer has an old candidate like Biden. Kamala Harris is 59 years old. Biden replaced her with a candidate even younger than Trump. Trump is 78 years old. The fact that Harris is a woman, both black and of South Asian descent, could be effective. With the efforts of the Win with Black Women movement, she raised over $1.5 million for her campaign in 3 hours. She managed to appeal to young voters. She won 3,500 new voters in her first 48 hours. More than 80% of them are between the ages of 18 and 34. Another group Harris is targeting is women. Unlike Trump's running mate Vance, Harris stands out for her abortion and LGBT advocacy. Considering all these, we can say that she is already a strong candidate.
Well, Donald, I do hope you'll reconsider to meet me on the debate stage. Because as the saying goes, if you've got something to say, say it to my face.
In conclusion, we can say that Harris faces a tough election race, but she has already garnered significant support. It was not easy for Harris to become a powerful figure in the political arena. After a successful legal career, she built a successful career as a senator and then as vice president. So how will the future of America be shaped under Kamala Harris's leadership? Can Harris succeed in her bid to become the first female president of the United States? I'd love to hear your comments and thoughts, and thank you for watching.